Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Influence Mastery Summit, where we bring you experts from around the world sharing a few strategies on how you can persuade and influence with confidence and charisma. This is Julian from Thriving Talents, and I have with me here a very special guest, Marc Teo. Marc, say hi.
Hi everyone, hello.
So Marc is someone who is a source of light and positivity, as you can hear from his his greeting just now. And Marc was one of the top 35 global partners with three business titans, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and Dean Grazzi in the May 2019, achieving more than $50,000 in sales for the Knowledge Business Blueprint with zero marketing costs. So basically, he's actually a top affiliate marketer, and he didn't even have to spend anything. And Marc is currently the coach for the Buffett Online School, which is a global value investing online program represented by Mary Buffett, who is actually Warren Buffett's daughter-in-law and used to train with Warren Buffett himself. Lastly, Marc is also on a quest to challenge and push others to become master implementers, individuals who take massive action to create amazing results in their lives. It's the movement that stems from his observation that while thousands of students can pay and attend the same exact course, read the same exact books, or participate in the same exact workshops, they achieve drastic results in their life differently. Some people may skyrocket their results, while others not so much. So we're going to hear a little bit from Marc. What are some of the differences of master implementers compared to just someone who's just average? So welcome, Marc. Thank you for joining us in the Influence Mastery Summit.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. Very excited to be here during an interview.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time. Marc is a very busy person. He just came back from Las Vegas, which he attended a global, a small gathering of affiliate marketers, being the top 35 in the recent Knowledge Business Blueprint program that Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and Dean Grazzi had. And we're going to hear a little bit about his story, how he managed to do that with zero marketing costs. First, Marc, there's one question I always ask my speakers. What is confidence and charisma like to you?
Oh yeah, so that's a great question, right? What is confidence, what is charisma, right? To me, the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to confidence and charisma is what I like to call connection. How do you actually connect with people, right? So to some people, confidence and charisma might mean just about like speaking on stage, talking to 1,000 people and being very confident. To me, it's actually a lot a bit different of that. It's actually just even, the charisma is just about how do you connect with people. Even whether like saying hi to like a bus uncle that drives the bus every day to work, even that connection. And when the person feels your authenticity, your sincerity, right? To me, that is charisma itself. How do you not just how do you communicate, but how do you connect with people? Then when it comes to confidence, right? Of course, communication is part of it. How do you communicate people well? How do you adjust to the other person's style to match it, building rapport and all? But at the same time, I mean, like confidence is also about doing things, communicating, even when you're actually a bit afraid, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes, like I think I would link confidence to courage, right? It's not about doing things when you're not afraid. It's about doing things even though when you're not, even when you're afraid. And to me, that's also part of confidence. And together, I think confidence and charisma, your key focus and what you're doing now, right, is two key things very useful and powerful to help to promote among people. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Let me ask you, is confidence and charisma learnable though, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. So like confidence and charisma, people might think that, oh, some people are born. Maybe you could say that, but I'm sure definitely, right, confidence and charisma is born. So for myself, right, I was a very quiet person. I used to, honestly, like in primary school, I used to be alone by myself and whatnot. And over the years, well, things got a bit better because I was given opportunities, right? My confidence and charisma grew a lot, right? It was because I joined a sales company when I was 18 years old, and that's how I developed it. So where is it learnable? Absolutely, yes, because I'm an example of how it can be learned. Yeah.
So before that, how were you like? You were very introverted. How was it like for you growing up?
Yeah, so I guess like I was born in a pretty like good families, but I was a very happy-go-lucky. But somehow in school, I would think I would be a bit shy, especially in primary school, right, the first few years. So I wouldn't be the one hanging out with a lot of friends. I would just, during recess time, I would just be like chilling by myself, buying a wang wang or like drinking coke by myself, just walking around. And that was my childhood. Like I wasn't like feeling lonely and whatnot because I had friends, but I just wasn't someone that would actively go out and interact and all with others. So it's only over the years when I hang out with some people and things got a bit better. But I would say that overall, like all the way until like even like 16, right, I'm someone that didn't really like to hang out with people all the time. Yeah.
So you say that your breakthrough point happened when you started your sales job. Am I right?
Yeah, my sales job. So it was like all what we had to do is like, sometimes you see the people on the streets asking you to raise funds, right? So I had to raise funds for a charity. And I think for the first day of work, they really threw me to the street, say, go and say hi to 10 people. So to them, initially when you start, right, it's not even about the sales that you get. It's actually the number of rejections that you can receive, right? So what I did is just like, I was just a blur boy, right? I didn't know what's going on. So I just went to say hi to people, hello, hello, hello. And somehow on my first day, right, just by me saying hello, this old man stopped by, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I just did my usual pitch, even though I was not very confident. And he actually signed up. And I was like, oh, like that also can. But of course, that was that thing to show me that like, even though I wasn't the best, I wasn't perfect, right, that people could still believe in what I said, my message, right, and they could still sign up with me. And that was that first experience which brought me to, like, I think the next 6 months, right, like training people, like all the way to training people, speaking like 4 people at once and closing a sales here and there. So all those developed me for sure to be someone that could speak and communicate pretty well. Yeah.
Wow. And now to where you are being a coach in the Buffer Online School. Am I right?
Yep. So now currently I'm a coach for Buffer Online School. It's as Julian said, it's a value investing online program represented by Mary Buffett, right? So I help the newer students to make sure that they get started on track. They know what are the things to do, and if they have any like issues with like what stock trades to do, I give them some perspective and opinion. And at the same time, I also do a bit of a training as well. I assist the lead trainer, the president, to do some of the training for the courses as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So hope to see that you becoming a lead trainer in the near future, I believe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, somewhere down the road.
So Mark, I understand also that you run your own initiative called the Master Implementer Initiative. Maybe you can share with the people who are watching, what is Master Implementer and what is it about?
Okay, yeah, so I'll do a quick share about what the Master Implementer is all about, right? So ultimately, right, what happened is so for myself, right, I mean, since that sales job, I've been investing into attending like what you say, conferences, events, workshops to improve myself. Because I'm sure if you agree with me, right, the best investment that anyone can make is in ourselves, right? Yeah. So I started attending workshops for a couple of years. So sometimes I paid even like 4 digits and all, which wasn't easy, but I knew that it was important for my development over the long years. But what I observed, right, for many years that sometimes, right, it was the different people can go attend the same exact course, go for the same workshop, but they can achieve drastically different results. So like, for example, like 5 years ago, right, I know someone that, I wouldn't say who, right, but has attended the same workshop as me. But even now, it's a value investing workshop, right, but even now that person hasn't been doing that well, and he's still looking for stock tips and lobangs anywhere I can get. Whereas not myself, right, but I know that the people like the fellow coursemate have become trainers themselves, or some of them have even become like mini fund managers from what I know. So basically, my take is that it's not about information. Information is always out there, right? But then it's about what I call implementation, taking action in the first place. All right. So how do I become a master implementer, or what are the frameworks or things to do to become one? So my first take is, right, before you even want to be a master implementer, right, there must be this big word that you must have, which is called desire. So if you don't even have the desire to be one, right? So for example, you can force someone to attend an investing course, right? But if that person has no desire to want to achieve good results in the first place, right, he can attend, but nothing will happen to him. Yeah. So first thing is the desire. And then after that, then it comes to mastering what I call 3 key things when you want to be a master implementer. So firstly is you're mastering your habits. Secondly, your learning. And then thirdly, your time as well. So firstly, right, when it comes to habits, is to me, right, it's not just about the course, right? It's not about once you attend the course, then you straight away, you become that expert in whatever you're trying to study. You need to take consistent and committed action to making sure that you become an expert. So I'm sure you will know, right? Sometimes you hear all the, sometimes the Facebook ads or Instagram ads, they'll tell people, oh, you after you attend this course, right, you can invest profitably for just 30 minutes a month and be like financially free, right? Mm-hmm. So while I don't disagree, my take is that only happens when you have already like gathered a certain amount of period of experience. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. So a lot of people, what they do is like
your craft.
Yes, when you have mastered your craft. So some people, they expect once they attend the course, right, then they can immediately spend that 30 minutes a month, which I tell them is absolutely not. If you want, you go for stock tip service, right? For example, but if you go for actual seminar, right, it's always about honing your craft, taking a consistent action before you can achieve the desired results that you want. So my one tip, right, my one simple tip for anyone out there is just this simple thing called scheduling. So a lot of people, right, can say, I don't have time, what do I do? Then my take is you make time by scheduling the action in the first place. So just using a Google Calendar and writing it down that from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., right, after my dinner, I'll be reading stock news, for example. From 7 to 8 p.m., I'll be writing my ad copy. I'll be taking videos. So you schedule that time and you make sure that it's a big priority for you. And then you do it consistently over and over again. So that's my one big tip when it comes to mastering of habits. Then it comes to, the next one is master learning, right? And mastering learning, it doesn't mean like you have to like sit 24 hours and just trying to receive all the information. While I do agree that immersion helps even right after the course. So I'm sure you know like Tony Robbins, right? He did say that immersion is one of the most powerful ways you can to learn something. Yeah. But my secret hack, right, or my secret tip, right, it's not even about immersion. But I want to share a quick story, right, to illustrate this point. So I'm someone that wasn't very good in mathematics when I was younger. So in JC, right, it was the only subject that I struggled with. So I went for all the tuition. It was the only subject I went for tuition. I studied like crazy. I practiced like mad. I took all the different notes from all the different schools, right? And when the A-level results came, right, I got a C. And it was my worst result of the others. So, you know, like in Asia, C means you're fail. So, and whatnot. So, I wasn't like that disappointed, but I was like, oh crap, like I studied so hard, but I got a C. It was a bit, like a bit sian, if you would like to share that. And so during, after my JC period, there was a 2 years worth of army. So there was a break for some of us, right? Because we had to serve in national service. And what happened is, I knew that I was going to join this school, the business school in my local university. And when I was talking to some of the seniors, right, I realized that there was this one dreaded subject, right, that everybody hated. And it's called statistics. So the graphs, the lines and whatnot, right? And even people that got an A for their math in junior college, right, would fail that subject. So naturally, I became very, very, very afraid. And I did all I could to study to make sure that I could do well for the subject, right? To at least not fail or to get a C, right? But I realized so during my army period, I read this book called, I think it's How to Become a Straight A Student by Cal Newport. And basically, they just teach you, what he did was he actually interviewed all the top students from all the Ivy League schools, right, to find out what strategies were. And it turns out that all these top students, right, they are not the ones like studying and mugging overnight. They're actually the ones with a social life while being able to do so well in their results in the first place, right? So actually, they were very efficient and effective in their studying. And I took this one big tip, right, out of the whole book, right, which really caused me to start, I would say that eventually got me my A for statistics, right, for a subject that was so foreign and like so difficult for me, which was just to basically to teach, share and learn and just share with other people what you learned. And that itself, right, helped me because what I did, right, so I asked all my friends, hey, if you have any problems, right, let me know. I will help you answer them. And I just told, so what I've done is I just tried to study one chapter earlier ahead of everyone. And I just told people, if you don't understand, let me know. I'll do my best to help you out. And so what happened is, even if I did not know the answer, I would ask my professor, I would ask my naturally talented friends, right, those that math geniuses. I would, one way or another, I'll make sure that I know how to answer. And by learning and then teaching, right, you actually simplify it for yourself, but you also internalize the information that you learn. So the whole story actually just it's just for me to illustrate the power of teaching and sharing with others. You might find that it's a bit not as useful, or it might be a very simple tip, right? But when you do it consistently, right, you realize that you will become a much more powerful in whatever you're teaching. So that's what I did for my investing as well. In university, I just started sharing what I learned with people, and over time, right, I could speak to 5 people, 10 people, 30 people, and then I think the latest one, I giving a training to about 40, 50 people. And it would have never happened if I did not start sharing and teaching other people what I learned. Yeah. So
because
then
when you start sharing, if I can add to your point, right? Mark,
for sure.
If when you start sharing, then because you force yourself to sort of understand how it works and stuff like that as well. So it will force you to do a deeper learning by yourself. And then when people ask you questions, of course, then you'll be able to help them and you'll be able to answer them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very powerful because it's so even if you teach something that you already know already, right, that it's very easy to you, but you keep reinforcing to the point where you actually know it at a much higher level than other people. So that's a huge tip that I got myself that I wrote an article about it. I just want to share because it's such an easy tip that anyone can implement, right, just by sharing and teaching with other people.
Yeah. And I also like the point that you mentioned just now, whereby during your school days, you were reading one chapter ahead of other people. It just reminded me of the movie, I can't remember, So You Can See Me, is it? No, Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can, yeah.
By Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Pretended. So for those of you who don't know, the show involves Leonardo DiCaprio being a scam artist, a con artist, and he actually studied. Okay, he became he played multiple roles. He became a pilot. He became a school professor, college professor, or something like that. And they asked him when they caught him. They asked him, "How did you manage to play so many roles? How did you manage to become a college professor when you are not even sure of that subject? You're not even you didn't even study that subject." So he said that I just studied one chapter ahead of other people, and then that's how I managed to scam or fool people. I mean, of course, so, the right way. You didn't scam people, but in your case, you use that to teach other people.
Yeah, it's really about like just that one chapter earlier, and you get to help people, right? So even like for example, like entrepreneurship, like teaching other people. People are always afraid, like, oh, I'm not the expert. Why do I need to teach people? As in, how can I teach people? I'm not an expert in the first place. But honestly, right, there are always people that want to be at your level. And then what you do is you just have to be one chapter ahead, and you actually can start teaching and sharing and helping other people already. Yeah.
Awesome.
Correct.
Awesome. So, all right.
Yeah. Sure. So for the third one, then is what I call mastering of time, right? And so usually when I share about this, I usually ask people a quick question, right? So when it comes to, for example, like if I ask you right now, right, Julian, to master the Russian language in 1 month, right? Would you say like, difficulty from 1 to 10, how hard would it be?
8.
8, right? Because Russian is really very difficult, right? And we have like almost zero knowledge of Russian, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell, and plus at the same time, right, we're all busy with our own things. I mean, like you're doing interviews, not just to me, but with other people, and you have your own other tasks to do. But then if I ask you like today, like Julian, right, if I could give you $10 million, right, to master the Russian language in 1 month time, like you take the exam level 5, do you think out of 1 to 10, how likely do you think that you'll be able to achieve it then?
5.
A 5, right? That's a 5, right? So what if I tell you, like a third stage, right? Is what happens if I tell you, I will give you, not only will I give you $10 million, right? If you do not master the Russian language, I will kidnap your whole family and never be able to see them again.
Oh no.
Yeah, oh no, right? So from a 0 to 10, what would be the number what would the number be then?
The difficulty, is it?
Yeah.
0, man. You do or die, man.
You do whatever it takes, right? Because then the desire and all comes on. And so that's why I always like to tell people, right? When you say that I have no time for something, right, it's very disempowering because you're just leaving it up to something else, responsibility, right? But instead of that, I always share with people, don't say you have no time. You can just say that it's not your priority. So, of course, when it comes to $10 million, some people, it's still not their priority. They'll still say that it's very hard, they can't do it. But when it comes to their family or even their friends or their loved ones or even their own lives, right, then it becomes a huge priority and suddenly they make the time to do it. So to me, it's never about the time. It's how do you master, when it comes to mastery of time, right, it's always about thinking about priorities rather than time. Yeah. Then the second one, right, just want a quick end on when it comes to time versus money. Because I realized that, so just want to ask you, Julian, right? So for example, do you know that actually you can get to Bangkok for free?
How?
Like from Singapore, right? Yeah. So a lot of people, like, is it like a free promotion by Jetstar or SI and whatnot, right? So actually I researched, right, from my house at Toa Payoh right now, if I can get to Bangkok to free if I were to walk for 326 days. So I can walk through the customs and the islands, and I don't even know what I had to walk through. Yeah. So, but it also comes to show like sometimes you also can do things for free, right? Whether is it like mastering influence, mastering investing, mastering marketing. You can master it by yourself. You can just take the road where you start walking there. Instead, what some people do is they take a bus. So a bus from here to Bangkok, maybe you can take a couple of days. I'm not so sure, but you can take a plane where it's 2 hours long. Yeah. And so what I always tell people is always ask yourself when it comes to your learning, your self-development, right? how can you take the bus, car, or plane to your destination rather than wanting to walk all the way there? So I know a lot of people say, I investing, I can learn by myself, I can learn from a book's website. You definitely can, but imagine the amount of pain, the amount of time, the amount of tuition fee you pay to get to your achieved result compared to just paying a course one time and then you drastically like accelerate your results and your desire and you get to save that time for someone else, your loved ones, or to do something else. So when I talk about mastering time, right, these are the two concepts that I always share. Firstly, it's about your priorities, and then secondly, it's about balancing between the time and money, right? Because sometimes when people say time is money, I feel that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you can always learn from other people, or you can spend your money and then fail and then try so many times before you finally succeed. It's up to you lah. There's a longer road and versus the shorter road.
Yeah. So that's something I absolutely agree. Like it's really about, because I do know that some of my friends, like they don't want to pay for the course, right? For example, but then they have their own journey. Yes, they've been going pretty decent, but I know in terms of development, all right, it's always very different in terms of what they do. So when I talk about mastering of the time, when I talk about mastering time, habits, and learning, right, then back again, people ask, I want to master all this. I want to be a master mentor, but then again, how do I develop that desire, right? Because sometimes people say, I want that money, but I don't know, like I can't seem to do it. And so like what I do is I always share with them this story, right, that really shows how what you can do to try and improve your desire. So what I read, right, from another mentor and coach, right, was there was this scientific study done where the doctors, right, the scientists, right, they put a bunch of flies in a jar. And after that, they covered it, right? So what do you think the flies would do when it gets covered? Like the first thing that they'll think of doing?
Try to escape.
They try to escape, right? They'll try to bounce out. They'll try to like jump, but they can't because of that lid, right? And what they did is they left it for 3 days. The flies still went crazy. I'm sure they were a bit more tired, but they still tried to get out and whatnot. And what they did after 3 days is they took out the lid. And most people would think that, oh, that means they will just naturally fly out, right? So I know this story, right? The interesting part is they were still trying to get out, actually. But the interesting thing was, right, there's a whole YouTube video that can check it out, right, is that they still flew as if there was that lid over them. Okay. So there was, apparently to them, there was this invisible lid. So they did try to get out, but somehow they were limited by what they felt that was a lid. And then, so you see a lot of jumping and all. And then part 3 of the story, right? So this part, I'm not so sure if it's true, because I heard it from another friend who said he heard it from someone else. But he said that somehow, right, in these 3 days, right, these flies, they got like offspring lah. So they managed to like give birth to like smaller flies for some reason. And somehow, right, these smaller flies, I mean, they have never seen that big lid before, right? But they themselves also tried to get out, but they had an invisible lid on them. And so then it relates back to our own lives, right? Is what kind of invisible lid we have on ourselves, and we really want to achieve something in terms of having a bigger desire, right? The question is, who are we hanging out with? So I'm sure you know, like the quote, like we are the average of the top 5 people hang out with. I wish to take that a step further, right? By saying it's not just about the people physically you hang out with. It's about not just the top 5, but the top 5 Facebook pages you follow, the top 5 YouTube channels you subscribe to, the top 5 Instagram pages you follow. It's not just about the physical environment, right? To me, because now we use our phone so often, it's actually about the digital environment as well. If you want to be someone who's of influence and charisma, follow people who have charisma and influence, and slowly, one way or another, you will be able to become like them. So that's my little like tip when it comes to like increasing your desire. And then the final last part of the story, right, is so the lid was there, the flies couldn't get out. And what this cheeky little scientist did, right, is he took what was this thing that we know in secondary school called a Bunsen burner. Yeah. And then he lit the bottom of the lid up. So what do you think happened after that? The flies just flew out, right? Because it was so damn hot, they just flew out, and then they were free. And so the other question, right, is what sort of Bunsen burner you need in your life, right, to push you to take action to what you want? Whether is it by attending a course, or like by declaring it to the world, or like making a bet with someone saying, if I don't achieve my desired results in a certain period of time, I will pay $500 to the charity that I don't like, for example. What kind of fire you can have to put in you to achieve the things that you want. So that's roughly what I share in terms of what being a master implementer is all about. And I really hope that my sharing really would benefit whoever is watching this right now. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I learned a lot from it. I like the example that you put, saying that even with sometimes you need a fire to help, accelerate your process, or so to speak. Because sometimes I feel that you need pain in your life to, because people change by two ways, either by inspiration or because there is pain. So, but the true fact is, if there is pain, it's even more. People are willing to change faster. So, like you mentioned just now, when someone is threatening to kidnap your entire family, there's pain. So that's why you do or die, you're gonna do it. So it's a very good example that you give right there.
Yeah. So it's really about what kind of like so-called pain or inspiration is good too. But I'm sure like, for example, when it comes to like visiting a dentist, right? Would most people go because they want their teeth whitened or because they have a very bad toothache? It's always because of the bad toothache, right? So that explains it very, very, very well. Yeah.
Awesome. So actually, what do you think is one main problem that stops people from being a master implementer?
Yeah. So when I've been interviewing a couple of like speakers, trainers, and also some students as well, right? One thing that when I ask them, why do you think some students achieve higher results than others, right? They say this one very simple thing that most people like, which is actually action. They just say that they don't take action. Yeah, it's just basically the successful students, they take action. Is it imperfect? Yeah, it's imperfect. They might make mistakes, but they continually take action. So that's one. But yesterday I met this guy called Rayson, which actually made me like think of a whole new part, right? Which is not just about taking action. It's about the intention when you attend the course. It's the intention when you read the book. It's like, am I going there to hope to be spoon-fed in the future? Or when I go in with the course, right, do I make the intention, that declaration that this is the course that's going to change my life? This is the course that's going to create the results that I want. And if your intention is there, right, you can take the crappiest action. You can take action every day. You can be faced with the hardest challenges, right? If you have the intention when you go into the course, to the workshop, right, once you have that positive intention, right, the probability of your success is going to be way higher. And so action is one for sure. I mean, you have to take action to be successful, right? But to me, I think intention is actually a lot more powerful. Yeah.
So how do you have that intention? Do you just declare it out, or what? How do you do? What do you do to get an intention?
Yes. For intention, some people they one day like they just declare it, right? Some, like you said, like when pain happens, they will say themselves, it's too much. I don't want to be someone that just bogged down by my 9-to-5 job. I don't want to be someone that that the boss can just pull me over. And then I make the decision, that declaration, that I'm going to be financially free in 5 years' time. So that's one, when there's so much pain, right? Then for the other group where people like, life is comfortable. I mean, I'm 9 to 5. I don't really like it. I OT a lot, but I mean, my life is okay. I don't really hate it. And this is the group of people that I tend to relate a lot more with, because I feel like I was like them at one point of time. And my take is just to basically, like, which a bit of what I shared just now, right, is to follow people that you want to be like. Whether is it like personal development, whether we're reading personal development books, watching YouTube videos, reading, like even signing up for email newsletters, reading books. You surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be. And one way or another, right, the intention will come where you say, one day I will become like them. One day I'm going to speak alongside them. One day I'm going to be the Asian version of whatnot. Like somehow, one way or another, right, the intention will come because you tell yourself, I want to be like them. And sooner or later, the intention will come. Yeah.
I think it's because of the subconscious influence that these environments bring to you, whether it's your friends or is it the things that you're watching. It subconsciously influence you to want to be like them. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to friends, right? So I know like some people be like, oh, does it mean I have to like my friends and also that's something that I also struggled with personally, right? I think especially over the past year is, so it's not about you cutting off friends, right? I mean, to me, if they're toxic and they're negative, you definitely should. But if you find that some of your friends are like, their life is fine, but they're not particularly motivated, right? You might have to make that conscious decision to spend a little less, as in to spend less time with them. If if you really want to achieve success in what you want, right, whether it's like you said, like increasing confidence, charisma, and all, you really have to start hanging out with people that are like that. And then spend less time. I know it's uncomfortable, but that's something that I struggle with, right? But you do have to like spend less time with the people that you do not really want to be like. Like I think not wrong, Jim Rohn or a mentor said, like if you are the smartest person in the room, you have to find a new room, because you need to find people that can always stretch you, pull you, and challenge you. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for
No,
that.
right.
Now let's move on to a little bit about your journey to being the top affiliate. Can you share with us some of the things that you did right, or maybe some of the things you tried but it didn't work? How did you manage to become the top 35 with zero marketing costs? And you mentioned you did mention that it was the first time that you are doing it. So how do you?
Yeah, sure. So okay, I share a quick story of how I even got to be a partner, right? Because actually there's a application process.
Yeah.
So I attended, I think it started about 4 months ago. I attended this free sharing by some people that attended what you call the funnel hacking live event. So it's by this huge marketing event with like 4,000 people. Like it's like a huge crazy things where people teach about marketing, but there's partying and whatnot. And some Singaporeans flew all the way 30 hours all the way there to learn, and then they came back. I wasn't there. I learned from people that went there.
Okay.
So it's like the second degree learning. Yeah. So, but when I went there, right, somehow, sometimes if you go for like events or workshops, sometimes the mood of the room is a bit like noir, a bit chill, and the energy is very low. But I went to that sharing, right? It was about 30 people in it, but the energy was so high, right? Like the speaker was like, "Good morning, everybody," like, "Good evening, everybody." Everybody was like, "Good evening." It's like, it's not even like they're from the same company or same organization, right? They're all different people, but the audience there was so energetic and so much life, right? And then that's when I started making a conscious decision after that to start surrounding myself with people I want to be like. So then I joined a couple of groups, and one of them was the ClickFunnels affiliate group. And that was when I think one random day I was just scrolling Facebook, and then they said they were opening applications for this thing called the Mastermind course. And it was this thing that's launched by Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, and Tony Robbins. And it was based on a by application process only. So not everyone could get in. So I just clicked on the link. I was kaypoh, right? Sometimes Singaporeans very kaypoh. So I just clicked on the link to find out. So you had to write an essay of yourself. You had to say why you had to be. At the same time, you also had to write what's your online influence. So I'm someone that didn't have a lot of online influence, right? But I really wanted to, to me, it was just about applying, right? The most I get is a no, right? And it's not like if I get a no, they'll start finding me or start scolding me, right? So I just did what I could. So I remember what I wrote in the essay, right? What I told them is, I might not be someone with the biggest influence or some of the best marketing strategies, right? But
the biggest email list.
Or the biggest email list, right? I think mine was about 100, which is mostly my close friends who supported me, right? But I would do my very best to get the word out there, to promote the course, and I'll do my very best, at least from where I am in the Singapore Southeast Asian region. And I didn't think much of it, but I think like 2 days later, they accepted me. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy, man. So that was like win number one. But when I went to the group, right, I realized that there were so many big marketers that were inside that I got so intimidated, right? So I'm not sure if we heard some people like Lewis House, I think like John Lee Dumas,
School of Greatness, Entrepreneur.
Billy Jean, I think the guy with the crazy marketing hooks, and
the Genius,
yes, the Genius Advantage, right? So these are big people with millions of dollars, right? So I'm like, who am I to compete with these people, right? With probably millions of dollars and spending a huge team to do so. But that voice came to me, right? To me, to just say, I can just try, right? The most, even if I get 0 sales, I didn't pay any money to be here. And at the same time, I get to learn a lot from all these people. So I just told myself to just to try, right? So while people were spending like thousands of dollars in Facebook ads, right? I think I did 3 key things to get my sales. I think number one, right? So they were broadcasting for the live webcast training, right? To help to promote the course after that. So what I did was to tell people to say, hey, there's going to be this very big live training, this 2 hours by 3 global business titans, right? And if you sign up through my link, right, I'll give you my notes from it. So I tell them, say, I know sometimes 2 hours can be very long. You might not have to attend the whole thing. But if you sign up through my link, whether you watched it or not, right, I'll be making my own notes anyway, and I'll give it all to you for free. So a lot of people started like signing up through the free link just to watch the event, just because they wanted to get my free notes, right? So whether they read my free notes, whether they watched the live training, I didn't know, but that was where I got some good signings from there. Then the next thing I did, right, is so you know how like Dean Russell, they probably have millions in their budget, right, to start promoting all this.
Yeah.
And so they were in my Facebook and all, and I just suddenly that idea came out to me. How about I leverage on their millions of dollars instead, right? So I started commenting on their threads instead, on their ads instead. They were spending ads to promote the live training, right? So at the same time, I just told people, say, if anybody wanted the free notes from the live training, you just have to DM me and I will you sign up through my link and I will send you the notes. So I started leveraging on them, right? Which is why I didn't spend any money on ads, but I leverage on other people's money to get my. So it was a bit unorthodox, I admit. But that was where I got some good signings and whatnot as well. And then the third thing I did, right, was during the live webcast training, there were two, right? So one is the main one, and then second one was like a bit of Q&A, and then just to anchor more people to hopefully sign up. I was very active in the live webcast training. So but I think by the second live cast, right, people knew that the course cost $2,000. Which was a lot to some people, right? So a lot of them started saying things like, what is the MindMint software about? I have no time, I have no money, and this sort of objections. So because I'm an affiliate, I got to sign up for the course first. So I also paid my own money to sign up for the course myself, and I already got an idea of what the course is about already. So when that event happened, a live event happened, right, I started participating in the live chat. So when someone said, what's the MindMint software about, then I will share with them, and then at the end of my comments, I will just put in my live link for the order pitch. Then when people ask like, I don't have any money, I really want this, and then I will just share things like, honestly, this is not really as in rich people think of this sort of thing as an investment, right? Whereas like the not so successful people always think this of an expense. So try to think of it as an investment and see how you can make money, make time to make sure that you maximize value of the course. So I just started being very participant in the chat while always adding my order link. And so I just started doing all I can. So I think a few days after that, what happened is because by then the live, I think the tracking links weren't really up yet. So it's just one direct link that you could check to see your sales. So I didn't really check because I didn't know whether all this would work, right? I'm not someone that spent on it, but I was just doing my best. And then one day, right, the Facebook post, I realized that I was tagged in it. So it was the affiliate group post, like their whole Facebook group. So there's about 1,000 people inside. And then suddenly I just scrolling through the rank just to see. And then I think number 35 or 36, I saw my name, Marc Teo. I was like, Like, I was damn shocked because I was never in an affiliate like launch before, right? I was like, wow, cannot be lah, very weird, right? So I went to log into the affiliate dashboard, right? And then there it was. There my sales, my sales were there, and over the next couple of days, like it just kept increasing lah. So I started being like, wow, I didn't believe it for a long time. So like only when you could say the money came in, right? Then I finally like, oh, okay, this is real. And then so that's like roughly what I did. I mean, those three is what I call a bit unorthodox, right? But I just kept doing whatever I could, commenting on posts, going on YouTube, Quora, Facebook, just to like comment and doing whatever I could from the ground up. Yeah. Sorry, that was a very long story on how all this happened. Yeah.
No, I mean, from what I gathered is you gave people a lot of value, which was the notes that you wrote down. So basically, people are attracted to that lah. When you are able to give them value, then people will think that you probably know something or anything. So that's why they decided to, okay, I'll invest, I'll sign up.
Yeah.
Rather than just, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure other people will have given bonuses. So for you, you didn't give any bonuses?
Yeah, so one big tip I got that I'm going to use for my next one is actually to give bonuses, because like the top marketers, they just give like lots of bonuses, like whether it's live events, online programs, one-on-one personal coaching. There were one or two that started giving out iPads, iWatches at the bonus. I was like, wow, how to fight? But so that's why I was very surprised when I got the sales in the first week. But it also turns out that I mean, there's so many consumers, so many potential customers out there, right, that you don't have to be worried. But one key thing, of course, is to provide bonuses in the next launch. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is it's a blue ocean. There's still many other people that would, that you can reach out to. Yeah, that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So how was the experience like being flown over to Las Vegas to meet all these three people? And also, I'm pretty sure you met other top affiliate marketers that were there.
It's a crazy experience, right? So like even my trip there was a lot of drama happened, I lost luggage and all. But when I went to the event, right, when it happened, so firstly, I brought my friend along. We were both, I think when we first went, we were super starstruck, right? I mean, like all these Angmoh people so much taller. Then it's like people that we see online all the time, right? It's like you see celebrities, but the online business space. So I think initially we were a bit starstruck, a bit sort of in a sense. But they were very, very friendly. So like, I mean, so what we did right before the event, right? We declared that we would take a photo with Tony Robbins no matter what happens. Okay. Whether he was supposed to or not, we will take a photo with Tony Robbins. Okay, so anyway, just aside for then I'll share the story the story later. But when we talk to people, they're really friendly. But one of the key observations I had, right, is for the top marketers, the top 10, right, everyone knew each other already. Like everyone already the top 10 or top 20 people already like they knew each other like for years and whatnot. Like they're already like very friendly with each other.
So they have been very established as top affiliate marketers before.
Yeah. And I guess affiliate is one, but also like they have their strong personal branding, they have their own courses that they provide and all. And it shows that it's really like who you hang out with. I mean, like the top, they all know each other. It really means that it's about who you hang out with, right? That was the one key thing that I know. And then, so we went through the event. Dean shared about some of the upcoming plans, which is actually very exciting. It's pretty crazy, right? Like what the upcoming plans for the course is, the software and all. But so Tony Robbins came up to the stage for a while. He went to speak a bit, give some awards. And then when he went down, right, he was sitting on a chair. And we knew that they were closing up the event already. So for me and my friend, right, because we told ourselves like we don't know whether Tony Robbins will just leave straight away or not. Yeah. And we declared that we will take a photo with him, right? So we just, even before the thing ended, right, they were just saying their goodbyes. We just stood up and we just stood right behind Tony Robbins already, just to stand by to take that photo with him. So
you did, right?
Yeah. So it was nice to stay behind to share. But I think something that I was triggered, it was more my friend that was the one that pushed us and got us to declare like we are going to take a photo, right? Which made me feel like when you declare something with conviction, right, you are going to do it no matter what. Whether you are like being disrespectful, right, I mean, to the speaker. I mean, it was a little to me, but our priority was to take that photo of him. Because that's the whole reason why we flew 30 hours for, right, to meet the guy that has really changed our lives. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, so we took a photo of him, we talked to him, and I mean, that 30 seconds when you talk to him, right, it's crazy. Like he actually like stares into your soul, right? To me, it's a bit intimidating. But that conversation, like even though everybody was noisy, people just speaking around, people were just waiting for a photo, right? He was so present with you, and I think that also links back to what I talk about charisma and confidence, right? That his desire to connect with you on that level, right, is something that I haven't seen on that level in my life, lah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And the fact that you said you declare it, it also links back to the point where you mentioned about the intention, where you declare something to the universe, you make the intention that you want it to happen, and there you go, it happened.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, making the declaration and all, it really happened. So then another quick side story, right? I mean, Tony Robbins was the highlight, right? But the other side story which I realized, right, was so we have been hearing about this guy called Omar Elatar. He's the founder of what you call the Passionate Few. So I think it has been about 2 years. You heard about him? Yeah. So like I think his first few interviews started being with huge people like Grant Cardone, Tom Bellew, like people that like out of nowhere, right, this like unknown guy started interviewing like big millionaires or billionaires in that sense. And what I did is, because I wanted to learn about interviewing from him, right? So because I wanted to grow my show as well. So I started messaging him a bit. I bought his online course and whatnot. So when we met, he recognized me already. It was cool. But what was interesting is I bought him. So me and my friend, right, we actually bought gifts from Singapore. We were the only Asians that flew down for it. So that was the lucky thing. Like nobody else were from Asia in a sense. And we prepared some childhood gifts. Childhood snacks so like I think Mami, Wang, just to say, this is just an expression of our gratitude, to thank you, right? And he was so touched, right, that he actually offered us like a 1 hour personal consulting session with him, and he actually charges, I know, about $5,000 to $15,000 for his personal coaching sessions. It really goes to show me that I mean, like sometimes you can be very intimidated by big people like CEOs and whatnot, right? But sometimes with that just small gift, right, or that small little value that you like to give, right, that person can really be touched and then start providing you with value instead. But when you give it, of course, you don't expect to have something in return. I mean, you can give it with expectation of not receiving anything in return, but just to add value. But somehow, one way or another, right, that value, like somehow that little gift, right, can bring you so much back. Yeah. So just want to share that little story. But I thought it's a very powerful thing that people could implement for themselves as well. Yeah.
It is. I mean, giving without expecting anything in return. Yeah, that's really powerful.
Yep. Yeah. So that was a crazy experience. Yeah.
So who else did you meet over there? Did you meet like the top? Did you meet like who's that? Billie Jean and John Lee Dumas and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I remember. So it was my birthday on the day itself. So it's quite interesting. Yeah. So Billie Jean and Louis House. Yeah. It was a big birthday present. So I think for Billie Jean and Louis House, they were both like best buddies, right? So they're speaking. Like, I was speaking to Louis House first. Then Billie Jean came in, right? So then after that, they spoke a bit like, hello, how's everything? Then suddenly Louis House introduced me to Billie Jean. I was like, oh, you introduced me. Also like nothing much to say, but I was like very like, they were the first two people, like first two stars that we met. And then they were very nice. Oh, how are you ready from 30 hours? That's crazy. Until my friend said, oh, it's his birthday, by the way. And they were like, oh, happy birthday, man. It's crazy that you're here. So like, would you like a photo and all? So in the end, I haven't posted a photo on my profile, right? But in the end, I was that small little boy in the middle taking photo with two like grown, tall giants, right? And it was a very cool experience. Like, it also showed me like how nice like and chill they were. I mean, they were like caught up in their own conversations, but they took the time to like, hey, by the way, this is Mark and he's come all the way from Singapore. That was really very touching. John Lee Dumas, right, is a very cool guy. He is someone that's very chill. So when like for most people, like when we spoke, it's more like, hey, thank you for everything. Like this is like something for you, and just want to find out. Like it was more of like just finding out what they do, their strategies and all, right. But Johnny Dumas, he started like chit chatting about, oh, how's Singapore, how's the weather, how's the food, like is somewhere I want to go. Then he'll tell us about, oh, he's now like in a vacation, so now he's just chilling and all. And like he was a very like approachable, relatable guy, and he said like when in Singapore he's more than happy to meet us just to like have a chat and whatnot. So someone that I was like, wow, he's so chill. Like he's someone that is like, he seems like very down to earth person. I really enjoyed my time with him. Yeah.
Awesome. So, did you also tell him that you will be his personal guide around Singapore, that you will bring him around, stuff like that?
Yeah, introduce him to food and all. So I told her, and something right, which I haven't shared with anyone is, I did tell Johnny Dumas, say, let me know when you're coming to Singapore. I will help expose you to the Southeast Asian region. I just said it. So when it actually happens, I'm sure I'll do something, right? But I will see for that. Yeah, that's just a quick little thing just to add on. Yeah.
Okay, so hope to see him on the Master Implementer episode.
Hopefully, right? Yeah, that'll be damn crazy, right? I mean, he's one of the big like podcast interviews that started the whole movement, so it'll be a crazy honor to interview him.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to him when he started and stuff like that as well. So yeah, really excited. You know, it was great stuff learning from you, Mark. So I guess for us to wrap things up, because also it's getting a bit late on your end as well. Thank you so much for your sharing. Mark, I just want to ask you, if you had a chance, knowing what you know already, if you had a chance to start again from scratch, what will you do to rebuild yourself?
So start from scratch, you mean like all the way from back young or like and whatnot?
So yeah, saying you lost everything, you lost all your friends, everything, and then you're going to start from scratch. What will you do? But you already know the knowledge that you have right now. What will you do to rebuild yourself?
Okay. I love that question, because actually I do ask my interviewees that question as well. So for myself, right, let's say if I were thrown to a like a new city where I know nobody and whatnot, right? For myself, I think two key things when I first start out is firstly, I would want to go for networking events to meet new people. I think that's something that's very powerful, because sometimes it's not about what you know, right? It's about who you know at the same time. So I think for me, it's really to like speak with people, find out people who I can talk to, riff with, and maybe even collaborate with. But I think secondly, then for me, is to keep creating content, adding value for free. not to charge anything, but to just add content, whether it's by Facebook posts or YouTube and whatnot, and then slowly to hopefully build my branding. And when I make friends, right, when I make people that I can help, people I can associate with, I then will start like looking, can I interview you? Can I interview you for my series? Because I add value to them by exposing their audience. But at the same time, because I will be interviewing so many different people, right? Yeah. So I'll be having reach to so many pieces of audience. And then that's where I'll start, I'll start amplifying my reach. And from there, right, whether it's building my Facebook profile, my YouTube channel, then that's when I'll start looking for what I call the affiliate marketing opportunities. So let's say I don't want to spend time in the meanwhile to create my own course. I will start looking to see what kind of problems are my audience looking to solve. So somehow are my audience young graduates, or are my audience people that want to be entrepreneurs, or my audience looking who are be marketers. I'll see who my audience are generally the majority of, and then I'll start looking for causes that I can affiliate with. And then that's where I'll start creating my income. And eventually, of course, I'll create my own course. But if let's say the initial things I'll start off is those few things. Yeah.
Awesome. See?
Yeah.
You used to interview people asking them this question. Now you ask this question yourself.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, man, for asking that.
No worries. So, Marc, how can people reach you? How can people get to know you better, follow you on your journey, whatsoever?
Oh yeah, so I'm very active on my Facebook profile right now. So you can call Marc Teo 直接, but you can just search Marc Teo, M-A-R-C, not M-A-R-K, right? So M-A-R-C T-E-O. My Facebook profile is there. At the same time, I have a YouTube channel that I'm looking to promote actively right now, which is going to explode in the coming months. For sure. So you're going to get in on something very early, right? So the show is called Master Implementers by Marc Teo, and then you can check it out. So there are a lot of interviews, people from Singapore that share about what they define as master implementers. And these are people that have spoken internationally, speaking to thousands of people, thousands of students. You have world memory champions in the YouTube channel. I can check them out through my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Awesome. So remember to check Marc out. You can find him on his Facebook and also on his YouTube, Master Implementers. And then for his Facebook is Marc Teo, M-A-R-C and T-O, Marc Teo. All right. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us on the Influence Mastery Summit. Thank you, Marc, for your time. Really loved the session that you share. I really learned a lot. And for the rest of you who are watching, thank you for joining us as well. We will catch you on the next episode. Thank you.